Now let's look at this question. And it said the binary operational series is defined on R, the set of numbers, by x asterisk y equals x y all over 4 plus x plus y for x y which is an element of R. Find the identity element, 2 the inverse element, and 3 solve x asterisk 6 equals 16. So let's get started. Now for identity element, the rule is that A, E, then equals A, or E on A equals what? A. Alright, so now let us apply this rule. Okay, so from here you have x y all over 4 plus x plus what? Y. Now introducing the identity element, you can just pick anyone. Let us pick y. Here you have x is e, then here you have xe all over 4 now plus x, then plus our y is identity element. Okay, now let's just take note that a being operated on e gives you the same a. All right, so from here x operated on e will also give you what? X. So to this time, here we have that x, which is the final operation of this, equals xe all over 4 plus x plus what? E. Okay, now for us to eliminate this 4, let us multiply the whole equation by 4, and by doing that, here we have 4x now plus xe plus 4x plus 4e. Okay, all right, take note we are looking for identity element, so let us collect the like term for identity element. So here you have 4x, then bringing 4x over to the right, to the left hand side, you have negative 4x, then you are left with ex plus what? 4e. So here you have 0, then equals, factor out e, here you have e into what? X plus what? 4. So at the end of the day, e equals what? 0 as the final answer for identity element. So let's move. So now that we've gotten the identity element to be e, to be 0, so let us now find the inverse element. And the rule also applies that when a asterisk the inverse of a gives you the identity element, or the inverse of a operation a also give you the identity element. Now for you to find the inverse, you must first know the identity element. So let's get started. So to this end, following this again, here you have x, then y, xy all over 4 now plus x plus y. Okay, now x, then the inverse of x, right? So which implies that wherever you see y, replace it with the inverse of x. So here you have x, the inverse all over 4, then plus x plus the inverse of x. Okay, so take note that according to this rule here, a asterisk the inverse of a will give you what? Identity element. So here we have x, now asterisk the inverse of x should give you identity element. So let us just write that. That will be e equals x, the inverse all over 4, then plus x plus the inverse. Now take note that this is 0 according to what we solved here. So here we have 0, then equals x, the inverse over 4, then plus x plus the inverse. Okay, so let us multiply both sides by 4. By multiplying by 4 means here also will be 0, then equals, when we multiply this fraction by 4, 4 will be eliminated. We are left with x asterisk then plus 4x plus 4 inverse of x. So to this end here now, let us take 4x over to the right hand, to the left hand side. Now we get to have negative 4x, and we are left with x, the inverse, then plus 4, the inverse of x. Now let us factor out the inverse of x here. We have negative 4x equals the inverse of x, then into x plus what? 4. Now to this, since we are actually looking for the inverse of the element, so divide both sides by the coefficient of the inverse of x. So this eliminate this at the end of the day. So the inverse of x will give us what? Negative 4x all over x plus what? 4. Alright, so the identity is 0. The inverse element is what? Negative 4x all over what? 4. X plus 4. So now let us solve for the third question. And here we go. So here we have, take note that x as xy gives us x y over 4 plus x plus what? Y. Now we need to solve for this. Now in this case, now here we have x 36. Now which implies wherever you see x, you put it for x, and wherever you see y, for 6. So in this case you have x6, okay, then all over 4, now plus x, now plus what? 6. Okay, all right. I take note that x at 36 equals 36, right? So in that field we can now say this is 36, then plus, we can just rearrange this, 6x all over 4, so it will look more beautiful. X plus what? 6. Okay, so this stand now, let's multiply both sides by 4, so I will eliminate this fraction here. So here you have 4 times 36 equals, when we multiply 4 by the whole of this fraction, we end up having 6x, then plus 4x, then plus 24. Okay, now 4 times 36 here, it should give us 4. This is 4 times 144, then equals 6x. Okay, I guess we have a common term here. 6x plus 4x will give us 10x, now plus 24x. Now let us subtract 24 from both sides. 144 minus 24 equals 10x plus 24 minus 24. Let's the borrowed here we eliminate, so we end up having 120 equals 10x. Up in the line, yes. Now divide both sides by 10. So our x here equals 12 as the final answer. Alright, if you love what I've just done, subscribe to my YouTube channel and ensure you click on the notification button to be notified of all my videos in physics and mathematics. Thank you and God bless you.